let's have a free vote of the delegates on the first ballot. If they don't nominate Trump, then you go to a bunch of ballots in which candidates emerge or recruited to step forward. That would be very interesting and exciting. And I think it would be great for the Republican Party. I do not agree. It would be chaotic. Everyone would say, oh my God, there's no obvious nominee. There's a fourth ballot. There's a sixth ballot. It would be the most exciting thing that has happened politically in our lifetimes.
Never Trumper Bill Kristol on MSNBC's Morning Joe earlier today saying it would be exciting and the best thing for the GOP if the delegates were unbound. And of course, it would probably hurt Donald Trump. And there are reports saying those Never Trumpers may be close to the 28 votes they need to allow delegates to the convention to be unbound and therefore vote against Donald Trump, or at least, quote, vote their conscience. Well, for more on this, we're very pleased to be joined by a former advisor to Governor Jeb Bush, Justin Sayfie. Justin's also the publisher of the SayfieReview.com, Skyping in tonight from Aventura, Florida. And here with me on the anchor desk, Florida's Republican National Committeeman and a delegate to the upcoming convention in Cleveland, Peter Feamen. Peter's also the author of the book, The Next Nightmare, How Political Correctness Will Destroy America. Gents, thanks very much for your time here on Newsmax Prime. I just got to ask you, Peter. There are some delegates out in the news, for example, this guy from Virginia, Carol Bo Carell Jr.,
yes,
who says he'd rather face getting arrested than voting for Donald Trump, which if he votes against who won Virginia's delegates could happen. Listen to Carol Carell right here.
I'm going to go there, I'm going to vote my conscience, and I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. If you are for Donald Trump here today, you're almost for certain defeat and a Hillary Clinton presidency.
You know, you hear this, and your reaction to it, Peter?
I think he's misguided. I heard the part from Morning Joe this morning as well with Billy Crystal. He said it'll be exciting. You know, watching a train wreck can be exciting, but the train still gets wrecked. And so I don't see how unbinding the delegates on the first ballot or any ballot can be helpful.
Justin Sayfie, let me go to you as you join us via Skype. Obviously, you advised Governor Bush. Governor Bush and his brother and their dad are sitting this out. And by not getting involved, they're actually getting involved, some would say. Where do you stand on this thing? Should there be a, quote, open convention?
Look, it's well known, I supported Jeb Bush, my former boss, and as much as I wish he were the nominee of the party, I don't think the Republican Party leaders should allow the rules to change in the middle of the game. Everyone had a fair chance. Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, all of them had a fair chance to go through the process according to a certain set of rules that the party established. If all of a sudden at the last minute the party leaders decide to change the rules, then what was the point of the entire nomination process? And again, I say it as a Jeb Bush supporter who wished he was the nominee. I do believe, though, that for the party to maintain credibility and integrity, it has to respect the rules of the game they set out at the beginning of the primary.
Let's go to the phones at 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629, way out west to Apple Valley, California, where Ray is on the line. Ray, welcome to Newsmax Prime.
Thank you.
Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to say that Donald Trump is not part of the establishment. He knocked 17 candidates off of the stage, and if the elite Republican establishment could swallow their pride and get behind a person that's really going to change the way things are done in America, the way politics are done in America, clean up the mess in Congress, do the things that he said, like take care of the trade imbalance, check our immigration, do other things that Americans will be proud of again. We feel like we've lost our country, and it's gradually going downhill. And if Hillary Clinton gets in, it'll continue on that downhill slope. Donald Trump, he may not be perfect, but let me tell you, he's got something going that the American people want to get involved with.
Ray, we appreciate your perspective. Peter, let me come to you. You heard Ray calling for an appeal to the quote establishment to get behind Trump. Right. We heard our good friend Justin Sayfie just a couple of minutes ago saying, hey, look, I was a Jeb Bush guy, but it's time to get serious and remain consistent with the rules. I'm hearing that. It sounds very positive to me here, about a week away from Cleveland.
That's right. Well, I leave on Sunday, actually, to go to Cleveland. Ray and Justin are both right. And we're going to ride this Trump train right into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Because Reince Priebus, chairman of the RNC, he's all in, and as we are. And we said we're going to support whoever the nominee is. Trump's our nominee, we're in.
Gentlemen, let me go to something, and I'll get your reaction first, Justin. We heard from Newt Gingrich, who was on the stump with Trump last night in Cincinnati, and in a television studio earlier tonight, finally admitting that if it is offered to him, yes, he would accept the running mate position with Donald Trump. And Newt also offered a calendar saying he thought before the convention started, probably a week from now, maybe a week from Friday, we might see an announcement. Would Newt Gingrich be a good choice for Donald Trump?
Well, you know, Newt is great at political rhetoric, and he's one of the best in the country on the Republican side. I started listening to his tapes back in the early 1990s when he was in the minority in Congress, and JD, you remember those days.
Hey, not only that, I listened to those tapes and we got a majority. He was a very effective speaker. You know, I'm all in for him, but would he be okay with you? 10 seconds.
With me, you know, I'm not sure. I'd like to see some diversity on the ticket. I'd like to see some a little bit more diversity on the ticket.
All right, well, that sounds like, no offense, Justin, but that's kind of like checking off the politically correct box. Peter, you wrote the book about PC. That's right. Is Newt okay with you? 20 seconds.
I like Newt because Newt is a tried and true conservative. He's shown that by his votes, by his rhetoric for 30 years. And so if there's any doubts about Trump's conservatism, Newt straightens that out. I'm all in for Newt.
All right, Peter Feamen here on the anchor desk. Justin Sayfie from Adventura via Skype. Gentlemen, we appreciate your time, and go Newt, at least here on the desk. Now, before we all part company, we played a clip last night from Donald Trump's latest Facebook ad depicting the back and forth between Jim Comey and Hillary Clinton. Well, it turns out Reason TV created an even more detailed clip that has reached over 30 million Facebook users and has over 250,000 views on YouTube. And you're going to see it right now.
I did not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
I thought using one device would be simpler.
She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email.
There were no security breaches.
It is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
It was my practice to communicate with State Department and other government officials on their .gov accounts.
The hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
No doubt that we've done exactly what we should have done.
They were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
People will be able to judge for themselves.
We cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences.
Americans will find that, interesting, and I look forward to having a discussion about that.
And that discussion will continue a long way from now until November. Lots of changes in the polls, lots of developments ahead, including the upcoming Republican convention. Who will Donald Trump select as his running mate? Might it be Newt? And what will Hillary do to get the heat off? Launch another attack on Mr. Trump? Or pick her own running mate, maybe sooner? We'll find out. Be looking for you tomorrow night. Till then, stay brave, stay free, stay